Why did our ancestors, living on a vast, pristine planet without borders, constantly seek to destroy one another? And why now, when we have supermarkets overflowing with food and strict legal systems protecting us, do people still relentlessly plunge into fierce struggles? Conflict does not seem to be a historical glitch. Rather, it is a feature deeply coded into our minds. If you have ever pondered this dark side of humanity, leave a comment and subscribe to the channel so we can decode the deepest mysteries together. Stay until the final seconds, because the historical truths about to be revealed carry immense value enough to forever change how you perceive the world today. Now, close your eyes and let your mind travel back to the distant past, around 13,400 years ago. You are a member of a small nomadic tribe living along the wild Nile River Valley. In that era, there were no maps, no nations, and certainly no courts of law. Your family lives a wandering existence, relying on gathering fruits and hunting small animals. But nature isn't always merciful. A prolonged, harsh climate shift strikes. Fresh water sources gradually deplete, and the lush green pastures wither. Your body, and those of your loved ones, are wasting away from a lack of sustenance. One fiery afternoon, just as you find a rare, remaining pool of fresh water, a group of strangers emerges from the other side of the trees. They are also gaunt, their eyes full of despair, and equally desperate for that water. There is no common language to negotiate, nor any concept of yielding when survival is pushed to its absolute limit. In that moment, primal instinct speaks. You must make a grim choice. Either protect the source of life for your family, or stand by and watch them slowly wither and perish. Conflict erupts not out of malicious intent, but from a desperate effort to protect your flesh and blood from harm. This is not an imagined scenario. Archaeologists have found clear evidence of this story at the ancient Jebel Sahaba cemetery in Sudan. Excavating this area, they discovered dozens of human remains bearing severe signs of trauma. Many sharp obsidian flakes were found embedded deep into the skeletons of men, women, and children. The deceased here tell a wordless tale of fierce prehistoric clashes. Violence in the Stone Age was a tool for survival. It was localized, driven by instinct, and deeply tragic. But then, the wheel of history rolled to a fateful turning point about 10,000 years ago. We call it the Agricultural Revolution. For the first time, humans stopped moving. We learned to sow seeds, harvest, and domesticate animals. We began to build permanent dwellings and settle into larger communities. This event had the appearance of a great peaceful leap forward, but in reality, it was the spark for a radical change in the very nature of conflict. Agriculture created surplus wealth. You started to have storehouses full of wheat reserves and flocks of plump sheep. And to protect those things, you erected dividing fences. The concept of private ownership was officially born. For the first time in history, plundering became more profitable than toiling yourself. Deprived groups, or those with greater ambitions, started eyeing your food silos. Conflict was no longer random clashes over a sip of water for the day. It turned into organized campaigns with clear strategies. To protect immense wealth, settlements were forced to form defense forces. Standing armies were born, weapons were upgraded, and warfare officially became a systemic tool to seize accumulated wealth and expand power. That systemic shift has left a profound imprint on our psychological structure to this very day. The modern human brain, originally designed and honed to be constantly vigilant against existential threats on the wild savanna, now has to operate inside glass and steel skyscrapers. The mismatch between our primitive biological hardware and modern social software has created a silent pain. Look at the pressing issues of modern times. Cutthroat competition in the workplace, vicious cyberbullying and factionalism on the internet, or the deep-seated mistrust between different ideologies. Even though we no longer have to wield stone weapons to fight over water, humans are still using status, power, information, and money to destroy one another. We create invisible boundaries and label those outside our group as threats that need to be eliminated. That is the remnant of a defense mechanism from thousands of years ago. Could it be that the peace we pride ourselves on today, with all its complex treaties and strict legal systems, is actually just a fragile shell meant to restrain our deepest instincts? Having to continuously suppress this inherited suspicion, having to constantly maintain a conciliatory attitude while our subconscious is endlessly scanning for existential risks, has given rise to chronic stress disorders in modern humans. We are more physically secure than ever before, Yet we feel more mentally exhausted than ever. Looking back on this entire journey, we are forced to objectively acknowledge a truth. The harsh pressures and ruthless conflicts of the past were the crucible that forced humanity to constantly innovate in order to survive. The modern technological landscape, miraculous advancements in medicine, the rise of global trade networks, and the complex social cohesion of today exist in large part because humanity continually had to surpass its own limits in moments facing extinction. But the price we paid is also incredibly steep. We have forever lost our primal state of tranquility. We attained prosperity in exchange for a mindset that forces us to constantly carry a heavy, invisible shield. Human nature harbors both a capacity for profound love and a terrifying destructive power. And perhaps, civilization does not lie in our ability to completely eradicate conflict, but in the necessity for each individual to learn how to dialogue with and master the darkness within themselves every single day. Thank you for joining us on this journey back through the history of the mind. Please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our upcoming content videos that our team has invested a great deal of time and passion into researching and producing. See you in the stories to come.